Hello there, my name is Rachel. Let's talk about animation, and today we talk about Unicorn Wars General Episode 5. Now, this episode was very interesting because we left off with basically Emma summoning sort of a Kraken Cthulhu type of character who's destroying the city, and now she's trying to figure out how to get rid of it. He also getting pressure about her teammates to basically get rid of it, and she's sort of freaking out. She doesn't know what to do, so she sort of snaps and almost went all Super Saiyan, and she just knocked herself out. At least that's how you interpret it, because what happened next, she sort of kind of jumped time in the past, but at the same time she doesn't. It's sort of a weird way that time tempted to sort of explain it that could be confusing to some people, but still you understand that she went someone else sort of kind of memories in a way. It sounds strange because it's sort of two ways to interpret it. When she time traveled or when someone else's memories. And I think it's sort of kind of both, that you try and use both of them, or at least sort of a way to explain that she went someone else's memories in the very beginning to actually understand her abilities and understand why everything's sort of happening. That hopefully I do make sense. But besides that, that was sort of interesting because she met the original, basically warrior of the body she tried to control nowadays. And this is like the first time they both ladies actually met. And that was sort of interesting because you see Emma sort of still confused. She's like trying to kind of process everything, try to understand where this matches come from, understanding how to come back. But the little information they drop, you understand the original warrior who trying to possess Emma, who could be actually the daughter of Merlin, and that's sort of surprising. But they have two more twists extra that was sort of interesting. That Merlin actually married Morgana. That if you know the kind of the myth of Merlin, that Morgana used to be his sort of her assistant or his best student, that she portrayed him. That's sort of interesting. They use her as sort of the wife of Merlin. That makes sense that why use Merlin because Morgana portrayed Merlin. And this would actually add more interest because it's a reason why she portrayed Merlin. Like the daughter actually has power that Merlin lies to his wife or fiance or girlfriend, that she was sort of portrayed. She wants to know she has actually magic. For certain purposes, the only thing we know that Merlin trying to protect her daughter because of her Morgana, because she has sort of questionable intention to use that magic. And it's more of your interpretation that she wanted the power or destroyed the power. It's one or the other. And you see Sir, the original, let's say Warrior Emma, let's call her that for right now because it's sort of hard to describe two characters at once, that she's sort of confused, doesn't want to give her power to her mother, and you know this power could be sort of evil and Merlin trying to maybe figure it out, not to be sort of neutral, trying to maybe save her daughter. At least that's how I chose to interpret it because we don't actually know why she has this power. It's because they're both parents or what? And this is sort of the original evil came out of it, what the Unicorn Warriors trying to stop. But this sort of evil magic could affect actually Organa, and this is the reason why evil actually got born. That's sort of trying to control untapped power. That was sort of kind of interesting and unexpected because it explains so much things that just sort of shocking. Of course, it also explained another thing that nobody really expected to be explained is the robot opinion who actually is forcing people to be reborn once again. I forgot the robot name again, but he actually could be Merlin. That was sort of surprising because it makes so much sense why Merlin sort of obsessed with this machine, that he wanted this machine to go every single time period to reawaken the warriors. The only way to actually make it work is actually put his own soul into this machine. Maybe, because after that there was sort of a cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, a small sneak peek what happens next, that they actually have a benefactor in the team, then we don't know who is this benefactor. It could be Merlin again, or part of Merlin, or Morgana, that she sort of survived. We could be wrong, I don't know. It's just sort of the only two guesses I have for the next episode. But this is sort of interesting because you see Emma more sympathize her other half, understanding why she kind of how she is, at least understanding what power she has and kind of responsibility she should have. But once more, she sort of kind of grasps what's going on with everything. In fact, I think this was probably the best written story to understand the grand stage now, where it's like, let's face it, last couple episodes we sort of kind of try and grab little straws here and there, trying to make sense to everything. It still wasn't confusing, but I kind of glad to give you at least the full picture. The only thing is not fully explained is why this evil exists. We know about Morgana and her original daughter, but that's basically it. Now we also have the second story in between plot A and plot B. And plot B is sort of weird because you follow Emma's ex-husband, fiance, who's still stuck in the middle of nowhere of the ocean, and he found a boat, but this guy pop out and they freak him out and warn him to not get in the boat, get the hell out of there. And he sort of listened, but at the same time, he doesn't have nowhere to go. He's sort of confused and gung ho. He will actually save his fiance and come back. It's sort of respect how gung ho really is, how much he loved Emma, but at the same time, I kind of wish he actually really think about the situation. Like Emma's parents understood, like, yeah, Emma is not Emma anymore. It's still their daughter, but it's not the same woman ever again. But once more, still accepting her. And Emma's husband, he's still sort of maybe delusional, maybe hoping she can bring her back, but being honest with you, not really. But of course, this reason motivated him to come back the boat to make sure to understand he's not gonna run away. But at the same time, when he go in the boat, the reason why the guy warning him is because they have sort of a werewolf problem, especially how the whole Plot B was sort of kind of like horror. It's almost hard to describe cinematic. Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it, because how the red moon blush over the whole boat, on feeling sort of unsettling, that he's sort of confused. He doesn't know what to do. The only thing he knows to do is sort of run away. But unfortunately, he got bitten by the wolf. But he did escape. But unfortunately, he got cursed becoming a wolf. I don't know, that could be adding up to the next story, building up to something. Honestly, I don't know. The evil villain will probably use Emma's ex-husband as a power tool to use against Emma and the team. That could be sort of interesting, but honestly, we don't know. This episode, I have to admit, it was sort of shocking, interesting, and well told, because it just was great. I mean, this episode feels so much a cinematic movie. It's just so well produced. It's just wow. It just was so interesting. Of course, I have to admit, they also kind of share a few moments to see what happened to the Nautile fox. That she's sort of kind of freaking out. She doesn't know what to do because she failed again, and she will be scared what happened to her boss. That is sort of interesting, but we don't know much. Maybe the reason why we seen her opinion is to give a little bit more empathy. But once again, it's sort of kind of interesting. I think that's all what happens. I mean, the other characters doing the same thing as last episode, tended to figure out how to stop this sort of Cthulhu cracking thing. But we don't get much information. The only thing is sort of the young kid monk, that he's trying to find Emma, needs to understand what he is, and that's really it. Like, they don't give enough character development, at least this episode. But I think you don't have time because how much they needed to explain. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. This episode was pretty good. It was sort of good, cinematic. Hoping the next episode be even greater, or at least explain who is these the main villain or why this villain reappeared. We have the explanation. Yeah, I'm fine with that. It was interesting. It was fun. Now, a question is how Emma and the other character, her inner soul, could combine, could not. We just don't know. Let's see what happens. I got nothing else to say. Just how you felt about this episode. You like it? Did you hit it? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.